Welcome back to Evidence Arrest Podcast, your deep dive into the most compelling true crime stories unfolding today. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and join us as we explore the case of Cheryl Feeney and her two children. On February 27, 1995, in a quiet neighborhood in Springfield, Missouri, a mother and her two young children were found murdered inside their home. Her name was Cheryl Feeney. Her children, Tyler and Jennifer. It was a crime that shocked the community, not just because of how brutal it was, but because of the question that came next. Who could have done this? Springfield, Missouri in the mid-90s was the kind of place where things felt predictable, safe, routine. The kind of place where people didn't lock their doors during the day, where neighbors knew each other, where families built lives that felt stable. The Feeney family fit right into that picture. Cheryl Feeney was a mother, devoted to her children. Tyler and Jennifer were young, still in that stage of life where everything is simple. School, home, family. The kind of life that's supposed to be protected. Cheryl's husband, Jon Feeney, was a high school science teacher, respected, educated, part of the community. On paper, nothing about this family stood out as troubled. That day started like any other. But by the end of the day, everything had changed. At some point, authorities were called to the Feeney home, and inside, they found something devastating. Cheryl, Tyler, and Jennifer had all been killed inside their own home. Details from the scene made it clear. This wasn't random. This wasn't quick. It was violent, personal, and deeply disturbing. When something like this happens, investigators start with the people closest to the victims, and in this case, that meant Jon Feeney. At the time of the murders, Jon wasn't home. He was at a conference at the Tantare Resort, a location hours away. This gave him something critical, an alibi. But in cases like this, an alibi isn't always the end of the story. Police began digging deeper, examining the timeline, the relationships, the details of Jon's trip. Because sometimes, distance doesn't mean innocence. The community was shaken. A mother and two children, killed in their own home. It wasn't something people could easily understand. Authorities worked to reconstruct what happened, looking for signs of forced entry, evidence of a struggle. Any indication of who might have been there. There was forensic evidence, but not enough to clearly identify a suspect. And this is where things start to get complicated. Despite the alibi, attention continued to circle back to Jon, because statistically, these kinds of crimes often involve someone close. Eventually, Jon Feeney was charged and brought to trial. Prosecutors argued their case, trying to connect the dots, trying to show motive, opportunity, possibility. The defense focused on the alibi, the lack of direct evidence, the unanswered questions. In the end, Jon Feeney was acquitted, found not guilty. And just like that, the case changed, because now there was no one held responsible. What about the forensic evidence? What about the details that didn't fit? What about the possibility that someone else was involved? Some evidence remained unidentified, unexplained, and that's where the case still sits. For the community, this wasn't just a case. It was something that stayed, something that didn't go away. 3 lives, a home, a moment in time that changed everything. Years later, the case remains unsolved, still open, still waiting for answers, and until those answers come, the questions remain. Thank you for watching. If you want to hear more cases like this, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Take care of yourselves, and take care of each other.